I've read one of the books and I was really pleased. So I kind of want to get the whole collection of the murder mysteries for that she wrote by Agatha Christie. I really want to read The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. Pretty good.
This is the brother of Dan Aykroyd, right?
Yeah, how Ghostbusters is actually a documentary.
Yeah.
Speaking of Coneheads, what if those Coneheads were
Had
instead
a podcast.
We're talking heads.
Well, you may find yourself listening to Tom Hates albums. I can't wait to unveil a new theme music.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So we can get that copyright out of here.
Yeah.
I mean, this show is the equivalent of the George Lopez show in our catalog.
Mr. Electricidad. Not Mr. Electric, not Mr. Electricidad. I saw, like, in Spain, I saw this the sign that said Electricidad, and I sent a video to Tenny of me just doing that, and this guy across the street just, like, looked at me.
It was George Lopez.
Was it him?
He was in the suit and everything.
Oh, this guy was...
You rang?
Release the plug hounds.
I forgot about the plug hounds.
I can't ever forget
Holy
about the...
shit. They were
the-
terrifying.
Remember the time when he was like, Linus. He just like casually told
Yeah.
the whole class that he like
calls
sucks
him-
at school.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Back to another episode of Tom Hates Albums. I'm your host, AJ Tenari.
And I'm Matt Glass.
And I'm Tom Murphy.
Last time we listened to Nirvana's Nevermind, an album that Tom enjoyed somewhat.
Yeah. I'd say so.
So we're getting there.
It has catapulted me into grunge.
Yeah.
I've been listening to Alice in Chains. I've been listening to Soundgarden,
Yeah,
and
the
I've
big
listened
four.
to all three of Nirvana's albums.
Very nice.
And even the MTV Unplugged one.
Yeah.
I meant studio albums, but I've listened to the MTV Unplugged one, and I've watched the performance. I'm like so into it right now, which is really amazing.
I'm glad it helped you kind of get out of your rock rut.
Yeah.
And so some more.
I'm still trying to listen to more hip hop though, and I
Yeah.
think I've been very much succeeding. So,
Very cool.
but we're not talking about hip hop. We're
No,
talking
or
about
grunge.
or grunge. No, we're actually talking
about some
something
new wave.
Yeah, something
Talking
completely
about
different.
heads,
Yes.
if you will.
Even. What a great segue, Tom.
We're somewhat we're kind of a gaggle of talking heads, wouldn't you say?
That's
Okay.
true.
A murder, if you will.
A murder. Yes, we're crows.
Parliament.
What's a parliament?
That's a 70s funk
Is
band.
it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also a 70s
Parliament
funk band.
Funkadelic.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. Yes. We are talking about Talking Heads, specifically "Remain in Light" by
Yes.
Talking Heads.
Probably their most beloved album, at least in the music fan community.
Yes.
Produced by Brian Eno.
Did not know that.
Yeah. So, it's got more of a kind of world music centric sound, a very funky sound too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It was very kind of like step in a different direction from what they've been doing, and a lot of people really like them for that. It's very unique, and I can see the appeal.
And there are definitely some things to really appreciate from this record. We have other thoughts as well.
That is true.
But that is not really the main focal point because it is Tom Hates albums.
Yes.
So we're going to try to see what Tom thinks of it.
But
so
first,
It's
yeah, I
time
was
for a
going to
little
say the
history.
a little
predictions.
bit.
Yeah.
And also predictions.
and predictions.
So AJ, would you like to go first with your predictions?
I'll go first with my predictions. Tom, I don't think you liked this album. I'll be quite honest. If I had to say a favorite track, I'd say Once in a Lifetime, definitely.
Yeah, that is the iconic one.
And if I had to pick another one, I'd say Cross-Eyed and Painless. And I think you're going to give this like a 4 out of 10.
That's pretty on par with what I was thinking too. I definitely think because Once in a Lifetime is like the hit from this.
Yeah.
And you can tell in the grand scheme of things with this
Yeah,
record.
it's the most accessible.
I would definitely say so. It's the one where David Byrne's musings are not as annoying.
David Byrne.
What's his name?
They're not as David Byrne. I don't want to explain fucking cut this out. Cut this out, Matt.
Yeah, I think your predictions are pretty on par with mine for the most part. I definitely don't think this was an album that Tom is going to be listening to like over and over and over
Yeah,
again.
I would agree.
Like Meatloaf, for example. Like I definitely think it's nowhere close to the enjoyment.
Yeah.
Because this is, like you kind of said, a little bit, I don't want to say inaccessible, but
It's
like
a little more like artsy.
yeah. And what I think you hated the most about this record is probably the singing style. That's what
Yeah.
I would predict. I also think this album, for me personally, is very repetitive. So, like, if I was finding it that way, I am sure that you probably found it to be that way too.
It's possible.
So, I would say that, like, number-wise, AJ and I are probably in the same place.
Ballpark?
Yeah.
All right.
So
like
you're
a 4
thinking
or
4 out of
something.
10?
Maybe like 4.7, just to be a little quirky, you know?
You know, I give it a little unique flair.
Yeah, you know.
Okay. So usually I don't reveal my final score until the end, but this is fucking incredible. Matt nails it like
Wow.
within 0.01 like every fucking time.
Nice.
It's
No, this is
incredible.
actually only the second time where I hit it on
It's
the head.
the last 2 weeks you've pretty
Yeah.
much nailed it. Or the last 2 months.
sessions.
I don't know why I said weeks. We don't even record these within 2 weeks. So it doesn't even I was just
Tom,
fully
don't,
wrong.
Don't spoil the magic, dude. We
Well,
always record these episodes every day.
Yeah, we record the episode the day before it
they come out.
releases.
Yeah,
And Matt finishes editing it by midnight.
exactly.
I think I just had a seizure while you were saying that.
What? You can't do that? Just get to work, pal.
Shit. All right,
It's
I'm editing
not
it.
that hard,
I'm actually
dude.
editing it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Live
edits
editing.
all. Well, you do all the sound effects live in studio.
Yeah.
Remember?
See, there's one right there. The horses that just ran through the studio.
We are the knights that sang me.
Yo, get the fuck out.
Wait,
Interruptions.
We could have hired them to like slay the beast.
The Black Knight never loses, you know?
That's true. He never does. Also, sorry if the audio sounds a little different. We kind of got locked in the basement of the studio.
Yeah.
We're kind of in our bomb shelter. Nate Roos is loose, and
I put a lot of grease traps in the studio, and it between like the piss flood and
the grease. It's kind of a toxic like hazard
environment. So
Yeah.
it's
also a toxic environment here, but for different reasons.
it's a 2319 in the studio, just a little bit. So
Yeah.
we're kind of trying to
We're
like
fumigating.
This is where I keep all my acid, so I'm really upset that you guys found this.
I guess.
vials.
Hey man, someone had to spill the beans sometimes.
I was wondering when the hair is falling out of my eyebrows.
They're just like buckets around
Yes.
the room filled with like green bubbling liquid.
It's like all cauldrons of acid.
Some of it's acid, some of it's Mountain Dew. Do not mix them up.
Worst mistake of my life.
One thing I just wanted to bring up because you said fumigating, and then we can get back. Remember the episode of Always Sunny
Yes,
when like
the
Frank
World
just like
Series.
raises the curtain?
Yeah,
and
he
starts,
goes
like,
in.
He lets out this just like ungodly cough, and it's like the funniest thing. Oh my god. Anyway, Tom, continue.
So here we go. Let's run through the songs, fellas.
Well, we got to go through some little history.
You're
first.
right.
do.
There's history.
Yeah,
We do.
as with all things. So Remain in Light by Talking Heads was released October 8th, 1980 on Sire Records, and it's the fourth studio album by new wave icons Talking Heads. Produced by Brian Eno, Remain in Light saw the band incorporate many different musical influences with a specific focus on those from Africa to create the experimental stream of consciousness funk fest that is this album.
That's a good way to describe it. A stream of consciousness funk fest.
Yeah.
I also think we should just beat the shit out of Ben, just like the three of us as a group.
I don't know. Ben's kind
That
of.
one's on the
they're
record.
on
That
the
one can
record.
be in the episode.
I'm gonna like hard static and then just like cut to that. Anyway, are we done the history?
I could talk about like basic Talking Heads history, like when they formed and who the band members are.
Yeah.
All right.
I did a little bit of Tom history where
Tom
I
history.
looked up stupid facts about
Oh, good. I like that.
pop culture. I looked up like where have any of these songs featured in like movies and TV shows and stuff. I've got some fun stuff.
Okay.
But I'll do that track by track.
I know of one because I know David Byrne did perform this like as a solo thing on SNL with like a whole
shit.
drum cavalcade.
That's very cool.
I saw that. I actually didn't write that one down, but I did. I remember seeing they performed something on SNL.
I believe that was a John Mulaney one. I'm pretty sure the one where he was hosting.
Shit.
I'm not
So
sure.
it's like
Positive.
recent?
No, this is like I'd say like late 2010s.
Okay, gotcha.
Sometime around there. But yeah. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you.
Talking Heads formed in 1975 and consisted of David Byrne on vocals and guitar, Tina Weymouth on bass, Chris France on drums, and Jerry Harrison on keys and guitar. So this is an album that I kind of had a bit of a love-hate relationship ever since I first listened to it, but I will say on the subsequent re-listens, I definitely gained a lot more appreciation for. It's definitely not my favorite Talking Heads album, but I liked it a lot more than I used to. So I'm excited to talk about it.
Okay.
So shall we dive into
I
Tom's
did
thoughts?
make a prediction of my own. I predicted that
Interesting.
AJ would really like this just because it seemed like something
my
he would
alley.
enjoy. Yeah.
It is a rather percussive album.
Like, it really plays with rhythm a lot,
Yeah.
even with things that aren't percussive in nature, and it's really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, I really had a lot of respect for this album after listening to it. There's such a good run of, like, tracks 2 to 5 that is immaculate, but everything else around that I'm kind of iffy on.
That's so interesting because okay, well, let's get to Tom's first.
Tom, broad thoughts.
My exact prediction was that it was experimental and weird, and that's why I think AJ would like it. That's how it hit my ears. That being said,
I'm just kind of quirky like that too,
yeah,
man.
this guy, he's hella quirky.
Yeah,
He's wearing a Wawa shirt that says "Ween" on it,
I am.
I noticed that while he was reading the history, and I thought about bringing it up.
and I kind of want it, so I'm gonna probably try to find that later.
Shout out to former guest Gavin who gave me the shirt for Christmas.
Nice shirt, thanks.
Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, that's sick. Okay,
We could beat him up too and take the shirt.
I like to see you fucking try short
he
stack.
works out with Ben, so like I don't think that's a good idea.
I don't
They're
fear
gonna
either
kill
of
me.
them. Guys, I'm getting a call live on the air. Let's see what it is.
Oh, dude, answer it. Unless it's someone that you know.
I'm not answering that. There was a name
Yeah.
that felt familiar, but I didn't know it.
Okay, it wasn't a rando, so it wouldn't be funny.
It said Paul Mueller on it.
Yeah, what are the yeah, and he's not allowed on my podcast ever again.
Not after the incident. No. You're done, pal. Get out of here. Anyway, Tom,
Anyway,
broad thoughts of the album. What'd you think?
I was once born under punches.
And the heat goes on.
Wait, the heat goes on? I
It
thought
is
it was
the
the
heat
heart.
goes on.
Why did I write the heart goes on?
Celine Dion's contributions on this
I
album
fucking
are
wish
actually.
that would have been incredible.
I would listen. To that.
I thought this song was very funky and strange. It started so good, but then it went on for 6 minutes and progressively got annoying. Like it was good. It was the same thing the whole time. And if it
Yeah.
ended like 2-3 minutes, I think I would have really enjoyed it.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. I feel like that's where a few of these tracks definitely suffer is like
Definitely.
the length. Because I also said that this probably could have been cut down by like a minute or two.
I can
Yeah.
definitely see with the repetitive nature because like a big focus of this album was focusing on loops of
Yes.
instrumentals.
Yes.
That was kind of like how they got their hooks. But they don't really have a lot of change ups, which I can definitely see as being very monotonous.
But I respect it from being able to make the most out
Yeah,
of it.
definitely.
Because like I think having the art in like loops definitely it's like an art for sure. Like Daft
Yeah.
Punk can utilize that like really, really, really well.
Exactly.
But yeah, anyway, Tom, I keep interrupting you.
No, you're fine. It started to give me a headache. that song in particular, just because it was the same over and over.
Yeah.
And the like loop they were using got like real loud. Like it had like spikes of really loud. Probably
There's-
like my audio. Let's be honest.
You're actually doing pretty okay.
Oh, look at that.
Hey, character arc.
I'm learning.
I will say about this track, I do very much agree with you. This loop always has like a very sour tone whenever I listen to it, and it's one of my least favorite tracks on the album because I just don't like the way it makes me feel. I don't know. There's something weird about it.
I can yeah.
I ended up giving this one like a 3 out of 10 just because it was just a lot and my
Yeah.
head started to hurt.
That's fair.
And that headache bled into the next song.
Really?
I thought it was really long and predominantly mid. That's exactly what I wrote down. I'm still waiting for this song to get good. This song also featured on a show called The Curse, apparently. In case
Really?
anyone was interested.
Also, this track is called Cross-Eyed and Painless.
Did I not say that?
I don't think so.
Well, it was.
was
I
on
made
The
me
Curse.
cross-eyed and
Painful.
in
Yeah.
pain. Oh, I gave Cross-Eyed and Painless 4 out of 10. I gave The Great Curve also 4 out of 10. They
Okay.
were kind of on the same mark for
Interesting.
What was the first one?
me. 3 out of 10.
Gotcha. Okay.
The Great Curve was predominantly much better instrumental wise. I would say this is
definitely.
where it started to like not be as like brain raking to me. Like the
Yeah,
others,
there's
the
a
other
lot more
songs-
like variety in that track.
Yeah, and the other ones that were also they were funky and like I enjoyed them at the start, but then the songs just went on for a very long
Yeah.
time, and it was just like okay, it's too much.
I gotcha.
It still got a little annoying. The Great Curve, just because the song was almost 6 minutes. Like over 6 minutes, like 6.5 minutes ish.
Yeah. Somewhere around there.
I think it was like 6:20 something, but I just wrote 6:30 ish.
Fair enough.
And that was again, it was too long. And then Once in a Lifetime came on, and I knew this song.
Yeah, very good.
This song featured in such hits as Hot Tub Time Machine
Oh, of course. Everyone's favorite movie.
and Chuck.
my god.
And the
Okay,
show
Chuck
Chuck.
is- Chuck
Saturday
kinda
really
based.
likes that show. I feel like I remember him talking about that.
He did a film project for some class that he was in.
Who?
Fataday.
Oh, Fataday. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. I thought you said your dad really likes Chuck.
My dad does not.
I feel like my dad would.
My
I feel
dad
like
definitely wouldn't.
I feel like it's kind of a dad show. I've never
gives
seen
the
Chuck.
vibe.
I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
I thought this was an incredible step up. The lyrics are pretty fucking weird. I tried to like read through throughout the whole album. I had the Genius
Yep.
up. I was just trying to
Yeah.
glance at them because I'm trying to be better. You know.
That's what I do. Yeah.
I look at the lyrics go by.
On
I have it
Spotify.
Spotify like
Yeah.
in one part of my computer screen, and then like I write my notes on the other side to kind of hear it, but also kind of like take in the lyrics to try to get a semblance of what it's about.
Now, to touch into a little bit of the Tom history that I did for this album,
Okay.
this song was once performed by none other than the greatest artist of all time,
I already-
Kermit the Frog.
Yo.
Kermit
Oh, that's
the Frog
right. He did
sang
do
this
that.
song
He wore the
on
little
The
David
Muppet
Byrne
Show.
suit, too.
Did he? I
Yeah.
haven't seen
He
that.
did.
I don't remember this.
He wore the
This is
big fucking
crazy.
suit. I remember
I love
that.
that.
Also, Weird Al references the music video in his own music video for UHF.
I love the music video for Once in a Lifetime.
Oh, I also watched the music
Yeah.
video for this song because I heard it was weird.
I like
never
it a
and
saw
lot.
it fucking was.
Yeah.
The comment section was hilarious.
I've never seen the music video for this song.
It's
pretty
cool.
funny. Some of my favorite comments from that music video were this music video would disintegrate a Victorian child. And dude, this edible ain't shit, letting the days go by.
Water flowing under.
You may find yourself.
And then
This isn't my beautiful wife.
the top comment referenced a different comment that I couldn't find where the guy was like, I once saw a comment that said some guy tried to do the dance from this music video at a wedding and got kicked out. And it makes me laugh every time. And I was like, holy shit.
That's
I
awesome.
couldn't find it.
That's kind of funny.
This was a really good song, though. I gave it an 8 out of 10. This is definitely my high point.
Yeah.
You were absolutely correct with that. I mean, it was mainstream enough that I knew it
Yeah,
already.
it's their biggest hit for a reason.
I
Or one of
remember
their
I
biggest.
looked up like what are their top 5 just because I was curious if any of them were on here, and I saw this was
like number 3, I think. Yeah.
Psycho Killer was number 1, which is the only other song I recognize.
That's a good one.
which is also in Stranger Things.
And Always
I
Sunny.
remember that.
And
It is
yeah,
in
it
Always
is.
Sunny.
Always, that's what I wrote down. Always Sunny, Stranger Things, and apparently Reacher. I don't remember that.
Oh, Reacher. Okay. I got to watch that show.
But we're not here to talk about Psycho
Nah,
Killer.
this is Tom Hates albums.
because that's on a different album.
That is true.
Yes, it is.
On
Why would you
77.
bring it up?
Because you fucking brought
I
up
don't know what
popular
you're talking
songs.
about. I don't know what you're talking about.
I can arrange it so
I'm
that
pretty sure I
AJ
brought it
actually
up.
brought it up probably. in
I'm
the-
going to spin your fucking mouth, dude, okay?
Okay, well, it's open, so I'm ready.
Don't threaten me with a good time. Anyway, Houses in Motion, it was fine. It had an interesting breakdown around like 2:30. I don't know if breakdown's the right word, but like an instrumental
so.
thing
Yeah.
kind of happened. That was fun.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was anything all that special though, so it dropped kind of back down from the 8 from the previous song to like a 5. I was looking at my grading scale as I was doing this, and I realized like 1 to 4 is like I don't think this is a good song.
yeah.
4 and 5. 4 could be this is a bad like a song
goes
I don't
either
really
way.
like.
Yeah.
4 and 5 is my like this is kind of mid, and then 6 to 10 is like I think this is a good song.
Good. All right.
Seen and Not Seen was strange, but I felt it was kind of ineffective. Like I just didn't hit in any way that was meaningful. It's another 5 out of 10. I didn't think it was like bad. It was just kind of there.
Okay.
Listening Wins picked up. I liked this one a little bit more. It was kind of unsettling, but like in a
Yeah.
way that I enjoyed. I don't know why.
It's a very like ominous kind of tone to it.
I know that, like you're saying your thoughts on it, but I feel like just so
in.
I can get it out of the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, jump
This
in.
song sounds like if Hotline Bling was used in like a true crime show. Like, you know what I mean? Just like, do you know what I mean? Like, it sounds like that low key.
Holy shit.
Yeah, you kind of right.
Ever since I left the city, you know, just
That's the greatest take I've ever heard on anything.
Yeah, this is just like kind of down tempo minor key.
what do you think of that, Evan?
I don't know. He's not
Are
here.
you starting beef with Evan?
Yeah,
Sweet.
Why do you guys hate my friends?
my peg at the time. I think my peg by Steely Dan
Oh,
criticism was valid
okay.
because it's okay. I
What?
think the riff is still okay.
I think you are incorrect and that we can agree to disagree.
I'm not beefing with you, AJ. I'm beefing with Evan.
I'm beefing with you, Matt. It's a triangle. It's like the Holy Trinity.
I'm a one beef kind of guy.
I'm beefy amorous.
1 beef, 2 beef, red beef,
Blue beef.
You know, Ben and Evan are kind of like white guys on the verge of rapping.
They're like Statler and Waldorf. You know, like
I hate to say it, Matt, but I think me and you are the Statler of Waldorf.
Yeah.
As much as I don't want to say that, I think it's us.
Yeah, I think
no,
that's
I think
factual.
that's actually
it's
pretty
us.
true. That's
I think
pretty
Ben
true.
and Evan are performing, and me and you are just bullying them from afar, from a terrace where they can't get us.
That's the title of our memoir, From a Terrace Where They Can't Get Us.
That's
my
exactly
gosh.
what Lincoln thought.
And boy, was he wrong.
Anyway, listening
Calm
wins.
down. Just
Calm down.
Sorry.
Listening win, Tom. Take it away.
6 out of 10. I kind of liked it for reasons I cannot explain. Maybe
Yeah.
it's because it's if Hotline Bling was in it.
In a true
Murder
crime.
mystery.
Yeah. And last but not least,
Last but not least, the Overload, as seen in Mindhunters and Wicked City.
oh, obviously.
I've never heard of either of
Neither
those.
have I, but I thought it was funny.
You've never seen Mindhunters, dude? That shit goes crazy.
Have you actually?
No.
It looked familiar. Like I think I know of it.
It's like a reality show? Or like
I think it's just like honestly probably like a crime show, like Matt said.
I only watched the movie Roadie on repeat, starring
Meatloaf. As Travis Redfish.
Travis Redfish.
Everyone's favorite character.
God, that's my porn name.
I got a little redfish.
You want to see?
How do you think I got the name, baby?
So the Overload is a 4 out of 5 out of 10. It had a slow open. Or
4 out of 5 out of 10.
a 4.25 out of 10. I couldn't decide on 4 or 5. I knew it was in the mid range. Yeah, it's a 4/5 out of 10.
Yeah.
It did that bad.
Wow.
I couldn't
4.
give it a 0.
I'm glad that we have like a grading scale of a point, though. We can dissect that. We measure in fifths.
It's approximately 8/10 out of 10. I gave it like a 4 to 5 out of 10. I knew it was kind of in the mid range, but I didn't know where it landed.
Fair enough, yeah.
It had a slow opening. It was interesting, but overall it was just kind of too slow for my liking.
A
Personally.
little fun fact about this track. This track was actually purposely designed to sound like a Joy Division song.
Ah,
Yeah,
that makes sense why I didn't
I
like it
wrote that in
much.
my notes. I didn't even know that.
exactly.
Holy shit.
So
they did it.
They wrote the song specifically to sound like Joy Division without actually ever hearing any of their music. They just did it based off description.
That's so fucking funny.
yeah.
I literally wrote
That's
that in my
fucking
notes.
Yep.
I said
hilarious.
unknown pleasures type beat.
Yep.
That's fucking crazy.
So
I think that
that's
checks out why
I
you don't
didn't
like it. Yeah.
Brain blast, you know?
Eureka.
To be fair, I didn't. It was more of like I just thought it was
a little mid.
You know
yeah,
what I
as
mean?
you establish
It
the
was
4 to
mid,
5.
But
Yeah.
when something is mid the entire time, then it leans towards bad
Yeah.
because I had to listen to 40 minutes of it.
That's fair enough.
You know?
But before we get to final ratings,
Yeah.
we got to get to our thoughts.
Oh,
You're
shit.
right.
That is how the show works.
So Matt, yeah, it's only episode 8.
It's not like I've edited all of these because I actually didn't. AJ edited like 2 of
No,
them.
we edit
did.
them live.
That, oh, fuck, yeah, you're right.
Oh, the horses are back.
When you're panning for gold.
No, fuck, not again. Not again.
Sorry.
I'm in the caves.
Oh, my God.
So Matt, what did you think of Remain in Light by Talking Heads?
I think the start of this record definitely was not the best for me, but I was amazed by how little fatigue I felt while listening to it.
Okay, that's good.
The album had some like really strong instrumentals. The drumming on Cross-Eyed and Painless.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And like Once in a Lifetime, it really drives like those tracks forward. Like I'd say the drumming. And the bass lines on a lot of these
yeah.
are fantastic.
Uh-huh.
Especially on like Born Under Punches and Houses in Motion and Seen and Not Seen. The production choices were definitely interesting.
Yeah.
Like the hand drums and the Great Curve.
Dude, I'll get to my thoughts on the Great Curve, but I love that track.
It's a pretty good one.
You
I think-
would.
I think that
You got something to say, pal? Fucking say it.
I think everything I said has already been said, you know? Everything that needs to be said.
We'll be having a talk about your pay later in the acid chamber.
Am I finally getting paid?
we're taking away your acid, Tom.
Exactly.
No, not my ass.
It's all I have left.
You won't pay me a minimum wage. At least let me keep my acid. It's the only thing keeping.
I'm
the
nothing
Reapers
without my
at bay.
acid. The Reapers.
Yeah.
I can't see a thing without my acid.
Anyway, continue, Matt.
David Byrne's vocals, they definitely fit the vibe of the album well, but I did find his delivery like quite annoying at times.
Yeah.
especially on The Great Curve.
Okay.
And even like on Once in a Lifetime, like that song is iconic. Don't get me wrong. But just like, I'm like, yeah, it's iconic.
Yeah,
That's
shut
why-
up, dude. Okay.
That's why I like it. But it's also like, why are you yelling at me? Like, what the fuck?
Water flowing underground.
You should watch the music video.
It's
though.
it's fun. It's cool.
and it's shorter.
Okay.
They cut
Yeah.
it down.
That's always good. That's always
Yeah.
good. A few of the tracks also were kind of long.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to keep ripping on The Great Curve. I promise I do actually like that song.
I don't
but
give a shit. It's a show about opinions. Go off.
But at the same time, I do feel like that, and even Once in a Lifetime a little bit, could have been cut like a little bit shorter. It probably would have benefited just a tad.
I gotcha.
But honestly, I will say, despite how long the tracks are, I felt it was paced pretty decently, except at the very beginning.
Okay.
I think the start was honestly not, it was a little bit
Yeah.
foreboding of how I thought the album was going to go
Yeah.
for me. But at the same time, it did turn out to be an album that I enjoyed
Okay.
a bit. So I can reasonably give it like a low.
Hey. It's not time for final thoughts yet.
Well, fuck me, I guess. I'll edit this out.
You could leave it in there as a little taste, a little
Yeah.
treat for the
A
audience.
sweet treat.
Favorite, I'll like beep it out.
Okay.
Favorite tracks definitely got to be Cross-Eyed and Painless, Once in a Lifetime, and Houses in Motion. Those three for me, I was like, this goes kind of hard.
Yeah.
So
Amen.
I could definitely see like the criticisms of this album, especially on the first track. It's not a good first impression.
no,
Like I can see why people like Born Under Punches, but I just can't get into it.
I would agree. It's a rough start for
It's
sure.
such like a heavy foreboding tone, and like it doesn't really kind of capture what the rest of the album sounds like at all.
I think if you're gonna listen to this album, make sure you're hydrated so
Yeah,
that you don't get a headache.
true.
Like,
Amen. I was
genuinely.
drinking water, actually. Like, legitimately, I was like, fuck, I gotta get more water.
Yeah.
Like this will dehydrate you. It's a little cray.
But on the good side of things, I think the percussive nature of this album is really fucking cool.
And it definitely works.
Yeah, the way they play with rhythm, I believe it's there's a specific term they use, afro funk.
Yeah.
Polyrhythms.
Yeah. I was kind of getting that vibe.
Yeah, was just really impressive the way that they're able to utilize that. I'll finally talk about the Great Curve. The way that the vocal like accents during the chorus with the backup vocals is so fucking cool. I love the way they accent David Byrne singing during the chorus.
Oh yeah, and the way the vocal harmony is on like
Yeah.
World of Light.
Yeah, man.
Like, oh my god.
World of Light.
What I also really
Oh, sorry, a lyric. My mind immediately went to Smash Bros.
that is what it's called, isn't
Yeah.
it?
That is the
That's the
best
chorus
song.
of the Great Curve.
That's
Yeah.
a song
Also-
I listen to regularly.
Can I also say, because I wrote individual notes on the track as if it was like a regular episode, but I have some like scattered thoughts, I guess. I really love how skeletal the guitar solo is, but
Yeah.
like how much it is effective on that track.
That's by Adrian Ballou.
Well, I really like the artsy way you did guitar, Adrian.
He blew me away.
I prefer Adrian Red.
Fish.
What is it with all this fucking like fish talk and like
I don't know. Hey, man, when you're talking about roadie, Fish always gets in the way.
that's very true. That's very true.
Fishes be crazy, am I right?
Merch?
Amen.
Merch, anybody?
Fishes be crazy.
We need to make the white guys on the verge of rapping
I
shirt
think-
first.
I was
Totally.
thinking like if we did that, we can get like Mount Rushmore or something,
Yes.
but like we can try to Photoshop like
people's heads on
like
there.
known like
Yeah, white guys on the verge of rapping.
yeah.
I thought it should be me, AJ, Ben, and Evan as the four white guys.
And me just kind of like looking off in the
Saluting.
distance. With
Or
like
it should be you four without me, and then me just like, they didn't include me? Like, these
That's
guys
not-
have one episode. I've got a whole series.
I got to be wearing the iconic sweater from the season 1
Exactly.
that cut off circulation to my neck.
And isn't also lost to time.
I don't know where that sweater is
Yeah.
to this day. I think
Can
my
get you a new one.
I think my mom threw it out.
Aw, she
To be
knew.
honest with you, because I think I told her that I used that sweater, and she was like, "Oh my god, that looks terrible on you."
She's trying to ruin the podcast. Cut her out of your life.
I've been trying to wear it every day, and then yeah.
And you wake up and it's just missing from your body.
Oh, oh, that's so weird.
There was a
God.
different, slightly different sweater on in its place. It
Anyway,
feels wrong. I can breathe.
I interrupted you, AJ.
That's okay. I will agree the bass lines on this album fucking rip. All the instrumentalists kind of fucking kill it on this album, even though I kind of wish there was more variety in terms of what they're doing. The way that the album is emphasizing loops, I can see why they did it that way. And it doesn't really get too fatiguing, except on certain tracks like Born Under Punches, and I'd say like Seen and Unseen, like a little bit. even though I don't really mind that track that much. Highlights for me are Cross-Eyed and Painless, The Great Curve, Once in a Lifetime, and House in Motion. That whole run is so fucking good. I already said my qualms with Born Under Punches, but Seen and Unseen is like a cool experimental track that lets the keys shine, but it's nothing really special. Listening Wind is cool in concept. It's like a very kind of dark, ominous tone, but I find it a little boring. And I like the concept of the Overload being a Joy Division song, but it also kind of doesn't really fit the rest of the album tonally.
I would agree with that. Yeah. And I also think that, like, as much as I think this album is paced pretty decently away from the first track, it's kind of like a sandwich of like not very good beginnings and endings.
Yeah.
But like,
stale bread with a creamy center.
Hard shell, but you're gross in the middle. What I touch you with a 6-foot chisel. Sorry, it reminded me of that.
Damn, not Michelangelo, Leonardo, Donatello, and Raphael versus Michelangelo, Leonardo, Donatello, and Raphael.
I don't care. Like I do like ERB. That one does kind of go hard.
We're gonna lose fans for that.
Yeah.
It's okay. I like it too.
Yeah.
I also kind of feel like ending on like that long of a track was a little bit because I did like Unknown Pleasures.
Yeah.
But like
not on my Talking Heads album.
Was not really expecting to hear like David Byrne. I also feel like too much instrumental, just a little bit.
I agree. But that'll do it for my thoughts. So Tom, did you hate this album?
Yeah. Probably. It was leaning towards hate for sure.
Fair enough.
I think Matt nailed it. I wrote down 4.75 and Matt's prediction was 4.7.
Nice.
So like I think that's as close as you can pretty much get. Okay. I gave it I said D+. I could see a world where maybe it's a C-.
It's not bad.
I just said it was a lot of heavy lifting from one song, and the rest of it was very just kind of mild to me. And when there's like 40 to 50 minutes of mild music, it just feels like a waste of 40 to 50 minutes. You have to sit down and listen to all of it in a row. As far as where it lands in my rankings, I want to say it's like just below Pet Sounds, just above Unknown Pleasures, ironically. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Neat.
That's kind of where I could see maybe it bumping up above Pet Sounds.
Okay.
Possibly.
Interesting.
Just because Pet Sounds didn't have Stamos.
Fair enough.
But
It would have been perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's what they were missing.
He would have fixed it all. Yeah. Those are my finals. I'm gonna make a spreadsheet on Excel at some point this week
to put on
my
Instagram.
All my rankings.
Yeah.
I almost did it last night, but then I got distracted.
Fair enough. Matt, what did you think of final thoughts on Remain in Light?
So I kind of said like my big spiel about like the overall thoughts, but I can reasonably give this a B, like a low B.
That's fair.
I think I can very much respect how many liberties they took with like the production and like a lot of the instrumentals on this record. I said like a 7.10.
Oh, 7/10 out of 10, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
A 7.10.
7 out of 10 out of 10.
7.8 out of 10 is what I am putting this as, because I think that's a pretty reasonable score. It's definitely not like in full I will never listen to this again, but the 3 tracks that I mentioned, Cross-Eyed and Painless, Houses in Motion, and Once in a Lifetime I play all the time.
Once in a lifetime.
It's a banger.
It is fun.
Yeah, no, and I think like at some point I would like to explore some of the other tracks, but I don't think I will be listening to this in full again, and not the deluxe version.
Yeah.
I tried actually a little bit this morning. This morning I tried to listen to some of the tracks after, and I was like, yeah, no.
I'm good.
Pacing wise, I can't do like an hour of this. This is a little crazy.
I gotcha.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I think that's pretty fair. So as I mentioned in the beginning, I used to not care for this album. It was just kind of like a lot to deal with, and I was always listening to it passively. But after kind of learning about what they were setting out to do and learning about the different kind of musical influences, I actually grew a lot more of an appreciation when I could hear them.
Yeah.
While I was actively listening to it, and I was like, okay, now I see the hype, and I definitely like grew to appreciate a lot of these tracks a lot more. So it would have been probably like a C minus, but it's like a B plus now. So I will agree. I probably won't. I actually been vibing with this album like pretty frequently, so I'll probably be listening to it like frequently as well. But I would probably never listen to a lot of these tracks outside of the album. So yeah, B plus.
I think that's very, very fair. Tom, why do you think that people like this album? I know AJ kind of said it, but like, can you think of any other reasons?
I mean, I wrote down that it is experimental and weird, and that's why I think AJ would like it, and that it is also why I think general public would like it. I feel like there's definitely an audience for music like this that is very clearly. I feel like I remember reading something that is like, they very specifically were like, we're here to make experimental music. Like, we're going to try to be as weird as possible on a lot of their...
Should we have Tom try to listen to Meet the Residents at some point?
Maybe.
I'm not going to...
I love that movie.
I don't want to spoil it, but...
It's about the little kid that time travels,
yeah,
right?
The Residents, Lewis, it's great.
Funny Gold Robot.
And Wilbur.
Yeah. Meet the Residents.
Wait, no, that's Robots.
That's a good album.
and a good movie.
Yeah.
Oh
Fucking
my
love
God.
Robots.
Get up off of that thing.
You missed the delivery, but now's the fun part. Making
the baby's the best part.
What a fucking film.
I love that movie.
It's a good one. Both Robots and Meet the Robinsons.
Guys, let's start a Patreon and do movie watch-alongs.
Yes.
Honestly, I'd be so down to do
There'd
that.
be 3 people subscribed, and they'd all be related to me.
It'd just be the 3 of us.
And then it's going to be...
and a couple of people we get free entry to.
And then when the world is hollowed out with nothing to like live for, they're going to watch all of our content and be like, wow, I wish I had this.
When we survive the apocalypse in our acid bunker.
We're the only ones that make
That's all we can watch.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
You'll thank me
exactly.
for the acid then. When the monsters come. I think it shows very well in this show that like you guys have higher music knowledge than I do, quite clearly, which means when you listen to an album that is very experimental, you can be like, even if you didn't love it, you can be like, I see what they were doing. I see the experiment they were going for. And like, even though it didn't hit for me particularly, I know exactly what they were trying to do. I know the sound they were trying to get or whatever. And you can appreciate that. It means nothing to me. So it's just, that's why a lot of these albums that are the like, I guess, would Joy Division be? I don't know if experimental, but
not
just
experimental, but maybe like less accessible.
Yeah, the less accessible albums, I can't sit there and be like, yes, I see what they were doing. The syncopation. That's a word that I've heard.
Polyrhythms.
Yes. I have such a like cursory understanding of what some of these words mean, but not enough to be confident. It's just kind of like, I get it. You know what I mean? Like I could, now that I'm becoming more familiar, I feel like I can pick out the albums that are like, that one will be popular with a very particular group of people, but not me.
And there's nothing wrong
That's
with
where
that.
I've landed, except for Melanie Martinez. She's popular to no one.
She's popular to too many people, unfortunately.
No one worthwhile. Come for me in the comments, I dare you.
Sorry,
it's okay.
Elizabeth.
No Melanie Martinez fans listened this far into this
also
episode.
true.
That's true. They
If
probably
at all.
hate.
I don't think they know what Talking Heads is.
They probably hate us. Not me. I don't think they hate me.
They hate
Heads
me.
be talking, am I right?
Shoot, and fishes be crazy.
And white men do be on the verge of rapping.
I think that really sums up this episode pretty well, guys.
Yeah,
true.
I would say so. I would say so.
True.
I think it's a very kind of cool introspective episode of Tom Nate's albums.
I feel like I'm genuinely learning about music,
Yeah.
and it's ruining the specifics episode.
No. Your opinions are still great. I feel like.
I feel like my opinions are still crap. I'm just now aware of how crap they are, and I still have them.
Well, I guess that was we achieved our goal, man.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, this has been another episode of Tom Hates Albums. I'm your host, AJ Sonari.
I'm Matt Glass.
And I'm Tom Murphy.
Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Ah.